And let me see. Hang on a second. Let me make him a little worse.
I take notes.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right. So the patient is now in the OR. You finally made it to the OR suite. You're in the OR, and he's being manually ventilated by Joel there. And the physician asks your recommendation on selection of an endotracheal tube. So what would you like to put in him? Just think of sizes. I can readily say an 8, right? An 8, right? And what type of tubes do we use? Remember, you have low pressure, high volumes. You have high volumes, low pressure, blah blah blah. What kind of tubes do we use? Think about it. Low pressure, high volume. Okay. All right. So you want a number 8 tube. So there's a number 8 tube there. Who's going to intubate? So he needs to be intubated. So it's low pressure, high residual volume, cupped endotracheal tube. Please be very careful intubating him. Okay. Are you going to intubate? Okay. You need to get around. Go around the other side. Okay. No. I want her to go around the other side.
That's Keisha. Dropping stuff.
Okay. Use you have to take this off. This will give you better. Okay. So go around the other way.
Charlotte.
Let's get the pillow out. There
you go.
Pull the pillow out.
That sounds fast.
Okay, so you want one of these things? Okay. Watch out for the cord.
I got that face on video, Rose.
I want you to be careful. You need to change your put that in your left hand always, remember?
You got it. First truck, so. Oh, sorry.
You're ready to test them. Okay.
Mr. Carpenter?
Okay. Ready? Okay. So there you go. Yeah, it's take a hyper today. Hold on. Stop.
Good job, girl.
That's not. Don't get too high. All right, now do you see it?
There you go.
Yes or no?
Don't test. Elbow to the corner.
30 seconds.
Bag him.
Oh, the dog.
Your man is dying.
4. All right. Please. You got 6 or 7.
Everybody,
Do we have chest inflation?
Yes.
We do. We don't have tummy inflation. Whoa!
Good job, Charlotte.
Where do you work here? I don't know where she works, right? Because that's where we want to go if we have to be intubated. Okay. So, yeah, put it on. Oh, here, I'm sorry. No. In the middle, put that down. And then wrap that around his head. Okay, so we have him intubated, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so. Remember? Okay.
No, you're looking at 80.
Following, I don't like that. All right, following intubation, this is, I don't have the rhythm on here that I really want that they show, but what it says is, it says following intubation, ECG rhythm is displayed on the cardiac monitor. It's very irregular rhythm with large T waves. Okay, this is the best I can do. There's no palpable pulse and no measurable blood pressure. What would you do at this time? Do what?
Epinephrine.
Oh.
There's no pulse. Start CPR.
There is no palpable pulse and there's no measurable blood pressure. Compression, lower the bed and start doing compression. You have to do compression first. You have to do compression first.
And then all right.
All right, start doing compression.
I don't want to.
Okay, so compression. Yeah, oh yeah. Now, how do you bag and do compression? All right, wait a minute. How do you do compressions and bagging? 30 and 2. All right. But your patient's intubated. So how do you do compression and ventilation? The difference.
15-1.
This ACLS standards. It's continuous compressions and one breath every 6 to 8 seconds. So you have to watch the clock. You have to watch the second hand on the wall, and you give one breath, and compressions are continuous. Okay. And if the bed's too high, you get it down lower, or you get a stool. Okay. All right.
Continuous compressions and a breath.
One breath every 6 to 8 seconds. I mean, that's ACLS standards when a patient has an advanced airway in it. Okay. When they have an advanced airway. Now, if they don't have an airway, listen. If you're doing bag valve mask ventilation still, don't stop. You can listen and not stop. Switch and switch compressors. Tap them out. But if your patient does not have an airway in, then it's always 30 and 2. Once you have an airway, it's once every 6 to 8 seconds. And if you're doing rescue breathing only, it's one breath every 5 to 6 seconds. Yeah, just breathing. So when we were doing BVM up there a minute ago, it should have been one breath every 5 to 6 seconds. That's okay. Okay, so compressions have begun. A blood gas is drawn, and the results are, you ready? pH is 7.17, PCO2 is 48, bicarb is 16, PO2 is 207. The ECG rhythm remains unchanged. A femoral pulse is palpable, but only during external compressions, and you should feel that if you feel a femoral pulse. Okay, what would be your next recommendation?
Get bicarb.
Why do you want to get bicarb?
What was it again?
Okay, I agree. So how do you get bicarb?
Yeah.
Well, okay, yes, IV, but what dose do you administer? Why do you administer it? Okay.
3 mils.
Okay, let me tell you this. You don't give bicarb. I mean, the old standards when we were doing this stuff used to be, yeah, we gave bicarb, It's like we gave epinephrine. I mean, there are guidelines of how to do it. You may not have all that yet. These are the ACLS guidelines, okay, and they're posted up. I posted them up as I posted up the other while ago, too. But we used to do just a bolus. It was a 50 milligram bolus. It's large. We don't do that anymore. You have to dose it out, and you dose it out based on the patient's weight and based on their bicarb level. And yes, he's acidotic, and sodium bicarb might be beneficial at this time. It's not going to change anything in him right now. So it's not a choice on this option. I mean, okay, but it's not wrong thinking, but it's not a choice right now. So just think about what's going on with him. He's got massive blood loss. Remember, you're still doing all of that. So, and I don't have all the choices here. I didn't get them all written down. But what are you going to give him? You mentioned one a while ago. What do you want to give him? Epinephrine, okay? Because we're in a coach situation, and really he's in kind of like a V-tax situation. I just said large T-ways is all it said on the monitor. But you have to do something about that. And the recommendations for epinephrine is a milligram every 3 minutes. You can give it up to every 3 minutes. So it's every 3 to 5 minutes you give a dose of epi, right? So the answer is yes. We give a dose of epinephrine, and a fluid bolus, which we've got an IV up there. We just want to make sure our IV's running good, okay? So it says give him a fluid bolus of normal saline and epinephrine, and continue chest compressions and increase the rate of manual ventilations is what it says to kind of blow off the CO2 a little bit. And that's how they say that in these scenarios, although it's kind of erroneous a lot of times. We really just don't do that.
He's going to pass out.
But they will tell you to increase. Okay, 2 minutes later. All right, let me set this up. Okay, keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to get
You changing the ECG yet?
Boom. Okay. 2 minutes later, this is what you see on the monitor. The patient, okay. It says 2 minutes later, the patient has severe bradycardia. Okay. So you can stop compressions. Check for pulse. See if you got it. Yeah, it's going down actually. It still needs to come down some. It just hasn't come down all the way. Okay, so the recommendation is, what do you do now? What would you give? Who said it?
And I,
Are we checking the pulse here, or are we checking the pulse here?
Well,
Patient.
you check the pulse on the patient, because what does the monitor show you? Only. What does the monitor show you?
Activity.
What?
Electrical activity.
Electrical activity. It does not tell you that the heart is beating. All it's telling you is electrical activity, right? It does not tell you that anything is pumping. So always remember that. You always check the pulse on your patient. So look at him. He's at 57. So severe bradycardia. And who already said it? What are you going to give?
epinephrine.
Atropine. What's the dose of atropine? Anybody know?
1 mil per kilo.
No. What is it? How about half of that? It's 0.5 milligrams, okay? So you get half a milligram of atropine, okay, now.
Epi you're supposed to give every 3 minutes?
Epi, okay, all right, when we're doing a code, Epi is given every 3 to 5 minutes. Now, once they're out of that, we don't give
So if he
Epi.
hadn't been Brady, we'd have to give another dose?
Yeah, if he was still intact, we were still doing compression, if it had been 3 minutes had gone by, then we could give another dose of Epi, okay? I mean, there's other drugs we could give also, but yeah. But now, he's recovered, right, so we're post-resuscitation. Now, he's not breathing yet, so to speak, but he's bradycardia, so we're going to give atropine, okay? His eyes are open. Okay, so, yeah, I never closed his eyes, I'm sorry. All right, so let me set this up. And...
I thought it was eye.
All right, so look at the monitor now. Can't be that. Okay, so here you go. So we've administered the atropine, and it says 5 minutes later the patient remains apneic. His heart rate is now 64, 65. He's got a blood pressure of what over there? 90, 92 over 55. And ECG reveals depressed QRS complex, irregular rhythm. What would you now recommend? Okay? And he is having, I didn't set it up on there, but he is, let's see if I can make this work. Okay. Depressed, okay. I don't think they show up real well. But he's having other little beats in there. Anyway, he's having PVCs, but he's having depressed QRSs and PVC. So what would you give now? What's the drug? Huh? What's the drug of choice now?
Magnesium?
No, not mag. Mag is given for torsades. Okay. Uh-huh.
I don't know, smart people. Where are y'all at?
Okay. So we're gonna give him a milligram of lidocaine. Okay, lidocaine is an antiarrhythmic, and the antiarrhythmic will take care of the PVC and the QRS, okay? IV. It's given IV push. Everything is given IV push, okay? So we IV push a milligram of lidocaine. Depressed QRS complexes. So he's having a STEMI also. I mean, he had a heart attack, right? So the other thing is, and again, if they continue, we see how that dose works, and then what you can do is you can hang a drip, okay? Then we would hang a drip to run over, a few hours period of time, all right? But right now, all we're going to do is we're just going to give the 1 milligram. Huh?
1 milligram?
Yeah, just a milligram push. That's the normal push, is 1 milligram per kilogram IV push, all right? So 3 hours following surgery, the patient is transferred to TICU and placed on a mechanical ventilator with the following settings, okay? There's a ventilator behind you, okay? It's got a test one on it. Oh, no. I just want to know, do you know all that information comes Okay, so I can send it to... I just need to refresh my... I mean, I sent a thing around, they all filled it out, change their stuff. I figured you had it. I will. Okay, so we're coming into the TICU, and we're going to get him hooked up on the ventilator. Okay. Team 3. Okay. You step up. You keep bagging there until they come over. Okay. And team 3 is going to.